Hello everyone, my name is Maria Fennessy and I'm absolutely delighted to be part of the team at Generation Tipperary. Sometimes it's not just enough to play the right notes at the right time, in the right place. A lot of the time that we have to use our own imagination to express the music. So this little piece here is called Andante Cantabile, and andante means at a walking pace and cantabile means kind of song-like. So even in the title of this one, we're pretty much told how the composer would like you to play it. So I'd like to demonstrate this now for you, and I hope that you enjoy it and that you find that the dynamics are quite obvious in places, and also that there's, a couple of little points where again you have the ritenuto, which is when you pull back a little bit from the music or slow it down a little bit. So I'm going to settle my embouchure first. So I'm treating this as if it's a little piece that I'm practicing, more so than having it ready for performance. So I'm not too happy with a couple of elements of this, so I'm going to go back and fix them. So one of them is that in my ear, I started to do a modulation a little bit before its time. So I'm going to go back and have a little look at that now and see if I can tidy it up a bit. So it took me one or two extra turns there to try and correct my mistake that I initially made. And then once I had that corrected, I noticed that there was something not quite right about the changeover between two of my notes. I thought that it could sound a little bit stronger, so I went back again and had another little go to see if that improved what I was trying to achieve. And I think I managed to achieve that. So I might take it now from the start of the phrase. Instead of just the point where I'm having a little bit of problem. So again, this is something that you can address in your own practice at home. And a lot of the time I would have students that would say, I'm practicing my music over and over again. Sorry, my computer is about to off with my music on it. I'm practicing it so hard, but I just can't seem to be able to get it right. And, in that's okay. Perfection isn't everything. If we were perfect at it, I don't think it would be as an enjoyable process as learning music and learning an instrument is. We're always aiming for that perfection. But I think what we should aim for is every time to have it that little bit better. Just one thing a little bit better would make so much of a difference to your performance and to your overall playing in general. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to place my embouchure, make sure that my first note is good and strong, and I'm going to continue there from that point onwards. So that little part that I had practiced earlier on has improved, so I decided to continue on the phrases. Now we have some sort of a call and response in what you're saying yourself within this little piece. And at this moment, this is when we have that. Really lovely little phrasing there. You could also consider it as a small bit of a sequence. But with your weather, I think we can do a little bit more with it to make it that little bit more interesting, rather than repeating the phrase the exact same way as we heard it the first time. So I'm going to have a little try and do that now. So that gave us a little bit more variety, and I did play around with how I played them in relation to the dynamic level. Some of the dynamics worked for me and some of them definitely did not, especially towards coming to the end of the piece. I really did try to play as soft as I could, and in that it almost completely disappeared and the sound quality and the tone quality wasn't as strong as I know that I can do. So I'm going to go back and have another little look at that part. So that time I used the ritornello at the end to try and stabilise that dynamic level that I was trying to achieve. Now I still think I can develop that more, but that's for another day's practice. Which brings me to my next point. Sometimes we try and do too much in the one practice or the one rehearsal, and that doesn't always work. A little bit often goes an awful long way, and that's something that we all need to remember from time to time. It can be very easy to slip into, I have to have it done now, I have to have it perfect, I have to have, certain things absolutely correct and precise, and that can get a bit overwhelming at times for any level of a performer or a student. So it really is a better thing to do to break things into smaller sections and work on them a little bit at a time. So it's very important to make sure that you clean your instrument correctly when you're finished playing with it, especially for hygiene reasons, and apart from that it helps with the longevity of the instrument and the upkeep of it also. So all you need for this is a cleaning rod, which you may have got with your instrument anyway. If not, they're easily sourced from your local music shop. And then I would recommend that you use 2 separate cloths. So I have this lovely orange one that I use for the outside of the instrument, and then I have this muslin cloth, which is a bit smaller, for the inside of the instrument. So when you buy the muslin cloth, it usually comes in large sheets like this, and it's really soft, and you can just cut it then to size as you use however much you need. So I'm going to start with cleaning the inside of my instrument first. So it's a bit of a thread the needle situation. So one of the reasons why muslin cloth is better for cleaning the inside of the instrument is the fibres, they don't kind of build up on the inside, which is not really what we want. So just popped it over the top there and gave it a small bit of a twist. I'm just going to put that to one side for a moment. So again, with my right hand, taking my instrument apart, same as when I put it together, slowly, just giving it a little bit of a wriggle back and forth to remove the parts. So again, I have opposite ends caught here, not touching any of the keys. I find it really handy to have your case ready in situ before you clean your instrument, because that way then you have something to rest it on and it's not going to fall off or fall over, things like that. So again, I'm going to start with cleaning my head joint. So you just slowly pop the rod with the cloth on the top through the instrument, gently, just twisting it as you go along to try and soak up some of the residue that's on the inside of the instrument. I'm going to do that again because I can still see that there's some water droplets in there. I want to make sure I get all of them. So as you can see, I'm just twisting slowly. I'm not pushing it through. And there at the top you can see the cloth moving around inside. Some residue of my lip balm on there. I'll look after that in a few moments. So again, I'm just going to look through to make sure that I've gotten all the residue on the inside. Again, with the main body, I'm picking that up by the neck of the instrument. And slowly, same process again. Twisting the rod with the cloth on it through the instrument. Now this may not go the whole way down to the other end, and that's alright. Just bring it as far as it will allow and make sure you're getting all that moisture from the inside. So I'm just going to turn it around and do the same process from the opposite end. Again, I'm not pushing the rod in, forcing it in, just as far as it's able to go, and keeping the motion in process. So again, I'm going to look through and make sure that I've gotten all the moisture out. Again, catching my foot joint at the end away from the keys. This time it will come through. And again, checking inside to make sure that all that moisture is out. Now, so with my second cloth now, I'm going to start actually the other way around. I'm going to start with the foot joint, like so, and I like to place it on my finger, or even hold it like this. And I'm just giving a really gentle rub over the keys, because sometimes moisture will come out of the keys as well, so it's important to make sure that it's good and dry when you're putting it away. And I'm not touching any of the pads underneath, so I'm referring to these parts here. So I'm keeping the cloth away from that. Nice little shine there. So I'm going to pop that in. I'm going to do my main body next. Now again, I'm holding it with my right hand at the neck of the instrument, and I'm going to balance it on my case, turn it sideways to this lovely long part here where there are no keys or no springs or anything like that, and I'm just going to use a small part of the cloth like that, just on 2 fingers, and try and see if I can get off some of the paw marks there. Again, along here, making sure that you don't hit off any of the pads underneath. So all the time when we're thinking about cleaning the instrument, it's always about hygiene reasons and also the longevity of the instrument as well. Getting in and all around. Then when it comes to these keys here, I place the cloth in the palm of my hand like this, and again, really lightly, I'm just rubbing over the keys, not really pushing down too hard, just to get the paw marks off. And you might need to do it maybe twice in some cases to make sure that it's good and clean. I'm going to turn it around so that I can do the thumb pad at the back, and again I'm holding it at the neck of the instrument with my right hand. Now younger students might need some help with this. And now not forgetting the neck of the instrument, as I've been holding tight on that part of the instrument for different points during my lesson, different points during my practice, and even at the very start of the lesson, putting my instrument together. So again, there you go. Nice and clean again. Pop that back into the case. And again, as you can see, I'm not rushing any of this process. I'm, taking my time. I'm thinking about the things that I've done, what I've learned, what I need to focus on in my next practice. So as there was a little bit of residue of lip balm there on the lip plate, I'm just going to wipe that off with a clean muslin cloth, the one that I showed you earlier. I'm going to do that just before I use the orange cloth. So there really is nothing on that orange cloth whatsoever. So again, I'm going to place it in the palm of my hand and give it a good shine around, getting all the paw marks off as much as possible. So as you can see, residue is now gone. All the paw marks are gone. I can almost see my own reflection in it now. And I'll pop that back in the case.